This CCTV footage captures a wife walking from a trailer park home with her husband close behind. The two are captured walking into a laundry room at this mobile home park and appear to be in a heated argument. 50-year-old Scott Jones is the man on camera, and the woman is his 44-year-old wife, Deborah De Pinto. What happens after this moment in time is not only disturbing, it would ruin the lives of the children only just outside. Before we reveal the details of this case, we would like to send our thoughts and prayers to the family and loved ones of Deborah De Pinto. Boulder, Colorado, a town surrounded by mountainous terrain, is a work hard, play hard kind of town. Many people here enjoy hiking, biking, and getting back in touch with nature. Deborah De Pinto lived and worked in Boulder as a chef at a local restaurant. A mom to two children, she was trying her best to make ends meet, as well as provide the best life she could. She was in the process of a bitter divorce with her husband Scott Jones. Deborah had moved into this trailer park home with her two children, and her still husband Scott was living there as well. Scott had nowhere else to live, and Deb would allow him to stay there. The husband and wife, however, would constantly argue, and this small confined area would become a boiling pot of emotions. Deborah had expressed her desire to end the relationship and wanted Scott out of her life. He had no job and made no effort to help the family financially. Scott was living at the trailer home, which belonged to Deborah, but she had had enough. She had already started seeing someone else, which she had told Scott about, telling him that they were done. But Scott had refused to leave. He would instead claim that she was cheating on him and would attempt to emotionally manipulate her. June 18, 2018. A camera located at the mobile park home would capture Deborah's 13-year-old daughter getting into the back of the nearby car to escape the incessant arguing. Deborah can be seen walking off, with Scott in pursuit close behind. The two children are set to go on vacation with Deb's mom and dad, and Deborah had to make sure they had clean clothes to pack for their trip. She had headed to the laundry room to clean her clothes before she would later drop them off at the airport. Scott, however, wasn't done with the arguments and would follow Deborah. The mobile park had recently experienced some theft, and the owner would install this hidden camera, cleverly disguised as a pack of chocolates. This camera would capture the continued argument between Scott and Deb. The couple had entered the laundry room off camera, but the audio was still being recorded by the camera hidden within the chocolate bag.
I thought there was some common sense with you.
Well, I thought he knew that you don't think we're moving in there.
He doesn't know.
I didn't. So that's what I got to tell you. What is he doing over there? I'm getting one. Get out of here, this common sense. We're fighting for an hour over nothing. I'm done. We are never going to be together.
You're so cruel. Is that all you got, cruel and mean?
You're getting my way.
Weird. Who's in here?
You're I don't know.
I love you.
No, whatever. Get away from me.
Get away from me.
The arguing had escalated to the point that a physical confrontation appeared to have taken place, with Deborah yelling for help.
Oh, don't touch me, Scott. You can't force me to love you anymore. Get out of the... Where's the door? I'm trapped. Get away from me. You make me feel terrible. Get away from the door.
You're done.
Those yells for help appeared to have been muffled to some extent, almost like there was a hand over her mouth. The audio would then fall silent. For the following 47 minutes, only the sound of what appeared to be Scott breathing heavily and pacing around the room was heard. Deborah's lifeless body would lay on the floor of the laundry room, with Scott simply staring at her, offering no medical help whatsoever. He had snapped, and in a fit of rage, had put his hands around her neck until she had stopped breathing. Scott could have stopped, or even called for medical help to save her life, but he continued to sit there and do nothing. After an extended period of time, Scott can be seen on camera again in the utility room in a confused state.
Oh my God.
He was observed shortly after returning to the trailer home and then taking his son into the laundry to see his mom lying on the floor. The pleas from the young child would be absolutely heartbreaking. The young child would beg for his mom's life.
He's gone, man. Oh my God. 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 Please, Mama, wake up, Mama, please. Oh God. Please. Oh God. Please do it help us. Mama, God. Please.
Meanwhile, Scott would play along, acting concerned, knowing full well he was the cause of this terrible situation. Scott would then pass his phone to the young child, demanding he call 911. The child would dial the number. Barely able to talk as his mom lay in front of him, he was asked by dispatchers to provide the address, which he didn't know. It was at this point, Scott would be given the phone to talk to 911 dispatch.
Please help me. He's not breathing. Please help me.
Deputy Mike Toure would be the first to arrive on scene and walk into the laundry area where he would find Scott pleading for help. He's on the floor, cradling the lifeless body of his wife, playing the part of the concerned husband.
Hello?
Please help me.
Comments would now come out, declaring how much his wife meant to him and how much they loved each other.
You got to help my wife. You got to help my wife.
They got
My whole life, dude. Please help her. Please. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Take a deep breath, okay? The best people that can possibly be working on her, okay? We got paramedics on her, all right?
Oh my God.
Let's see what's going on. We got her.
Bro, should be holding her hand or something.
I know, but they're taking care of her right now, okay?
Mom. She's like 220 pounds, man. I told her, man. You gotta take care. Oh God. That's my whole life in there, man. That's my whole life. Oh my God, Mama. Oh God.
It's not going to get her in trouble, okay?
I don't know. Are we sure about it? Smokes that damn pipe where they heat up the end and they stick it in that stuff.
A bunch of them get smoked that way. Could it be heroin, though?
I don't think so. I don't know, man.
Okay.
Paramedics would arrive on scene, and oddly enough, the 13-year-old daughter who had not been noticed was still sitting in the back of the car this entire time. Later, it would come out that her brother, who was next to his mom's lifeless body, would send her a message from his father's phone asking, "Where are you?" and our mom is dead. In a later interview, authorities would ask her why she hadn't responded to the text message or got out of the car. She would claim, "The text was from my dad's phone, so I thought he was messaging me, and I was scared that I would have been next." Paramedics would work on Deborah, as Scott would continue to declare his concern for his wife. They had done all they could on scene and decided that they needed to take her to the hospital where there was much better equipment. Tragically, she would be pronounced dead on arrival at the hospital. At this point, investigators didn't know exactly what to believe, and they would take Scott back for questioning. Detective Don Dillard of the Boulder County Sheriff's Office would be tasked with trying to extract the truth of what really happened out of Scott Jones. He would claim that Deb had experienced a medical episode while doing the laundry. Detectives would question how his relationship was between himself and his wife, which he would claim was perfect.
Oh, dude, like she went like this. She started going like that and stuff.
Any discussions about your relationship, how things are going?
No. I love my wife and she loves me, man. And I have no idea how that went down like that today, dude.
Okay.
When she fell, yeah, she was face down, she fell. Just, I'm tired. I want to get my kids home. And I've answered a lot of questions. I've been very cooperative.
A change in tactic would come about, and Detective Dillard would now start to confront Scott to see his reaction.
Did something happen in that room that...
No way, man. No way.
I mean, I know accidents happen. If you're arguing, did something happen that went too far? Did she have a heart attack and die?
No, man.
At this point, police didn't have enough evidence to charge Scott, and were getting ready to release him. That is, until the owner of the trailer park would contact them and offer up the footage from the hidden camera.
I put up a Google Drive, I downloaded the video. It's an hour long. If you need more, I just got chills up in my spine. I couldn't watch it.
Having looked over the footage, Scott would be called back to the interview room, and to his astonishment, was shown footage from a camera he never knew existed.
So this is the video that we were talking about.
That doesn't prove anything, and you know that.
It shows us that something happened in that room.
Authorities would now have a timeline of events and know that Scott had sat there doing nothing for 47 minutes. They would again press him on the issue.
What's going on during that time?
No, man.
But Scott, you do know. This entire time you're still there with her. What are you doing? Are you looking at her? Are you trying to figure out what to do next? Help me.
Oh, man. Hey, where do we go from here, man? I need a lawyer, don't I?
He requests a lawyer, and police now decide to charge him with the murder of his wife, Deborah. But as soon as he feels the cold steel of the handcuffs, his tone changes almost immediately.
Do you want to keep talking to me? Because if you do, I have to read you.
Where do we go? Let's talk our options, discuss our options then.
A completely different Scott Jones now emerges, putting the blame on his wife, saying she caused all this to happen.
What happened?
I don't know. You think I am not kicking out of myself? You don't think I feel bad?
Well, I know you are.
Nah, man, it wasn't good enough. I'm taking the kids. You ain't taking my kids. Threatening me, with me, man. With me. Just couldn't stop being a monster. Just couldn't stop being cruel, man. You don't know what she's done to me. You don't know the cruelty she's done, man. I believe it makes a man temporarily insane for a minute, man, when you think about it. You know that? You don't know the troubles. You don't know the pain. You don't know what I've endured. You don't know what that woman put me through. You don't know what she did to my son. You don't know. But I didn't think anything through. I didn't think about anything. I just reacted. I don't know what happened. I just reacted. I don't know, man. It's nuts.
He would now be arrested for the second-degree murder for the death of Deborah De Pinto. An autopsy would be performed, which would show that Deborah had an enlarged heart, possibly from a stroke she had survived previously. Her cause of death, however, was attributed to strangulation. Police would now work on obtaining as much evidence as possible. Their main piece of evidence, which was the hidden camera recording, was very muffled by sounds of the washing machine and dryer in the background. They would work with audio expert David Weller to extract clean audio from the recording. The cleaned up audio file, which removed most of the background noise, would become the key piece of evidence in the trial against Scott Jones. Authorities had conducted interviews with friends and family of Deb, who would all conclude that Scott had a history of anger and threats towards his wife. Several messages were shared with police, which would have them change the charge from second to first-degree murder. Colorado law at the time of this murder, first-degree murder carried a minimum of a life sentence, or the death penalty could be applied. Second-degree murder can result in a prison sentence from 12 to 48 years. There was no denying that Scott Jones was guilty. It was now up to the jury to decide what his sentence should be. The prosecution would argue that he had previously stated to friends that he wanted to kill his wife and had spoken about harming her, so there was a history of premeditation. The defense would counter-argue that he had not intended to kill her, that he reacted in a fit of anger and passion, and her existing medical conditions contributed to her death. Scott Jones would decide not to take the stand in his defense or offer any statements. The jury would now decide his fate. After 10 hours of deliberation, in which the jury would request clarification on what constitutes first or second-degree murder, they would find him guilty of second-degree murder. Scott would also face a charge of child abuse for the act of taking his son into the crime scene where his wife lay dead on the concrete floor. He would be sentenced to 48 years for the murder of Deborah De Pinto, with an additional year for the child abuse charge. The children were taken into protective custody, what they would go through the system to find a suitable family for them. This tragic case would leave them not only scarred for life, but without both parents. The act of a man with an if I can't have her, no one can attitude would destroy a family and leave a community stunned. Deborah leaves behind a lasting memory for all those who know her, and is still missed to this very day. If you've been fascinated by this case, consider subscribing so you don't miss our next captivating dive into true crime. Channel memberships are also available by hitting the join button. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.